What is that uniform motion? It is the motion wherein the velocity, that is its speed, is same throughout the time interval. The rate of change of momentum of an object, it is directly proportional to the force which is applied on it. To every action nature performs to us, there is equal and opposite reaction to it. Hello everyone, I'm Vrinda, Faculty of Physics with the Ashram Pre-University College, Mysuru, welcoming you all to Chapter 5, Session 2. The chapter name is Laws of Motion. So in today's class, let us discuss about 3 laws of motions, that is first law, second law and third law, which was given by Newton, having the basic ideas of Aristotle's view. So here, Newton's first law of motion. It might be difficult for you just to give out the definitions. So just see this image. An object is at rest. The object is being kicked. That is, the object is given some force. The force is exerted on this object and the object is nothing but a ball over here. So, external force is acting on an object and finally the object is in motion. The object is at rest and the object is at motion. Initial and final states are object is at rest and object is at motion. So what made the object to move? That is the intermediate state, that is the external force. A boy is kicking the ball. So Newton's first law of motion is easier and it states that every body continues to be at the state of rest. So this is at the state of rest. So every body continues to be at the state of rest or it will be in a uniform motion unless an external force is compelled on it. So, either an object will be in a state of rest or it will be in state of uniform motion. So, what is that uniform motion? It is the motion wherein the velocity, that is its speed, is same throughout the time interval. So, you can say either an object is at state of rest or in the uniform motion unless an external force is compelled on it. And in this image, as you can see, the external force is this part. So he is kicking a ball. So ball is being kicked. So it will be in a motion. So that is all about Newton's first law. So here we are talking something about balanced force. So it is all about balanced force wherein your acceleration is considered as 0. That is, there is no acceleration. Why? Because the body, either it will be in the state of rest or in the uniform motion. Uniform motion means the velocity is same. If there is same velocity, there is no acceleration. If the velocity changes, only then you will have acceleration, and that is spoken in Newton's second law of motion. So here we have two conditions, that V is equal to 0, that is the object is at state of rest, and V not equal to 0 and it is in same speed. There is presence of velocity here and the speed is same throughout. So that is all about your Newton's first law of motion. Now let us introduce Newton's second law of motion. It says that the rate of change of momentum of an object. So what is that momentum? Mathematically, it is given as P is equal to M into V. What is this P? It is the momentum. So P means it is momentum, M is the mass and V is velocity. So it is a product of mass and velocity. So it is told that the change in momentum, the rate of change of momentum of an object, it is directly proportional to the force which is applied on it. Force applied and it takes place in the direction of the force exerted. So here we have got P is equal to m into v. That is momentum's formula. Momentum is nothing but the product of mass and acceleration. Suppose if the force is exerted on an object, what happens to that object? There is change of momentum in that. So the momentum, the rate of change of momentum takes place in the direction of the applied force. So there is change in momentum of an object in the direction of the applied force when the force is applied on that object. So this is all about your Newton's second law of motion. So suppose, consider this law. According to the statement, the rate of change of momentum of an object is directly proportional to the applied force. So this is proportionality. So here you have got force applied, which is directly proportional to change of momentum. So we have got momentum given by product of mass into velocity. So we have got F is equal to, when you remove the proportionality constant, you get a constant K, d divided by dt, wherein your P is given by m into v, d into m into v. And the mass, the weight differs, but the mass is always constant. The mass of an object is always constant. So take the constant outside, K into m into dv by dt. So what is your dv divided by dt? It is change in velocity with respect to time. So can it be acceleration? Change in velocity with respect to time is nothing but your acceleration. So I can give this equation as F is equal to K into m into a, and K is the constant which is given by a unity. It is K is equal to 1. You're considering K as 1, then you will have F is equal to m into a. So this is all about your force is equal to mass into acceleration. So force is nothing but product of mass and acceleration. Suppose if a body of mass m has to get accelerated, then a force should be applied. If force increases, the acceleration also increases. If the force decreases, acceleration also decreases. That means the force is directly proportional to acceleration. So that is all about your Newton's second law of motion. So wherein here you are talking about unbalanced force. Suppose it is unbalanced force, that is your acceleration is not equal to 0. Here the acceleration is not equal to 0. That is, the acceleration depends directly to the force, that is directly proportional. So acceleration, either it depends directly to the force or it depends inversely to the mass of the object, which is given as acceleration is depending like inversely. Okay, acceleration is equal to F by m or mass is equal to F by a. That is all about your Newton's second law of motion, which is all about change of momentum with the application of a force. So now you have got impulsive force. So what is this impulsive force? It is, as you can see in the image, just if you throw an object, what happens? It gets hit by the other object, that is the floor over here. What happens then? Once it gets hit by the other, it just pitch back. So that is what it is happening over here. You're throwing a ball, it will pitch back and come a little up. So that is all about your impulsive force. It is like a large force. It is a large force which is acting for a small interval of time, that is a short interval of time, to produce a finite change in its momentum. It produces very, very finite change in momentum. So the product of force and time on which the body acts, is known as impulse of a force. It is known as impulse of a force, and the force acting on the body for a short period of time. Such kind of a force is known as impulsive force. So that is all about your impulsive force. And next, coming to the Newton's third law of motion. It is one of the favorite law for science students as well as non-science students also. They love to explain this Newton's third law of motion. So it is very easy, and it is like, to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. Suppose if you slap a person, he'll slap you back, right? Suppose if you imitate a dog, it barks against you. So that is all about, to every action what you perform, there is equal and opposite reaction, or to every action nature performs to us, there is equal and opposite reaction to it. So that is what you can see in this image. Suppose if you're rowing a boat, when you row a boat, you're pushing your water backwards. You're pushing this water backwards, wherein you are moving forward. That is why you just row your boat and you just move. So that is all about your Newton's third law of motion. Even you can take the example of rocket also, as well as many other examples are there with regard to this Newton's third law of motion. That is why, students, each and every physical activities, whatever you do in nature, everything has got some physics in it if you just look into it deeply. So now we have got the equation as, suppose there is a body A which exerts a force F on B, then the body B also exerts equal and opposite force on A. How is it given? Body A exerts a force F on B, correct? So, this is a force exerted by A on body B, okay? Then the body B exerts equal and opposite. So, it exerts equal and opposite force on A. So, again, this is a force which is exerted by body B and A. So, it is the opposite force. That is why it is negative over here. So, this is the equation in order to represent the Newton's third law of motion. So, in today's class, we had studied regarding Newton's all three laws. That is Newton's first law of motion, second law of motion, as well as third law of motion. So, I hope you're clear with today's class. Let us all meet in the further topics of the same chapter, that is chapter 5, laws of motion, in our next sessions. Until then, have a good day. Thank you.